This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of Phatts TV, sanctioned by PA Phatts and the non-genetically proven son. Any and all words have been authorized during the show. There is nothing off limits. Nobody is restricted from watching and participating in the show. It is a free-for-all. Commencing at the siren, any and all discussions will be legal for an extended period of time. Sports, politics, and any and all controversial topics will be talked about. You have been warned. May God be with us all.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Phatts TV on this Friday night, December the 23rd. Happy Festivus for the rest of us. Joining me always from the frozen tundra of Center County, Pennsylvania, the one, the only non-genetically proven elf.
I think that's... I think you're underestimating frozen tundra. Like, my window that's right here, I can't see out of it because it's frozen.
It's mighty cold. It's cold.
There's a real deal. Negative 25 outside.
It's cold.
-1 or -2 right now is the actual temperature.
Yeah. It's cold.
It's cold.
It's cold.
It's cold.
It's cold.
I don't like it. It was 40 degrees when I woke up today.
It's cold. It's cold.
It was pouring, though. That kind of stuff.
It was pouring this morning. Yes, it was. So, I have on my traditional Christmas attire, as you'll see in a little while when I show you proof that this is my Christmas attire. So, last Sunday was the wrap-up of the World Cup.
Woo!
And what some are calling the best soccer game ever. No, it wasn't. Sorry. No. The last 40 minutes of the game were pretty good. I'll give it that. The first 80 minutes of the game, So if only a third of the game is good, it's not the best soccer game ever.
I can think of a game equal to, as much as I'd hate to admit it, from 2005. Champions League final. Between AC Milan and Liverpool.
Okay.
AC Milan was up 3-0. Liverpool scored 3 goals in about 5 minutes and ended up winning on penalties. That game might have been better.
So for those of you who may have been under a rock, which, let's admit it, basically at least 50% of the world watched this game.
I saw a number of 4 billion, but then I only saw a number in the U.S. that wasn't even, it was like not even 100 million.
Well, of course.
Like I saw somewhere between like 10 and 20.
Yeah, that would make sense. So the rest of the world was watching the game, and we weren't.
The U.S. was not.
Yes.
I parked it and watched the entire game.
Argentina won in penalties. Now, of course, American fans... Maybe somebody on the screen right now is up in arms. Oh, the game shouldn't end in penalty kicks.
I'm not up in arms.
Game shouldn't end in penalty kicks.
I just tried to make an argument that said, should we end World Cups on penalties? Should a World Cup, played every 4 years, be decided on penalties?
Yes, it should.
That's
simple.
fine.
I'm a traditionalist. I don't like to see rules change. Yes. So,
Man,
what?
there's a French media that put out a survey, or not a survey, like a petition to have the game replayed. It has 200,000 signatures.
Oh, boy.
If it gets a few hundred more million, maybe somebody might say.
No. So the stars of the game did show up. Messi played very well for Argentina. Mbappe played very well for France.
Scored a hat trick.
He did.
And didn't get player of the game.
I'm not a fan of penalties counting as goals in your goal tally. If you're the person that caused the penalty and you took the shot.
You just threw all the Ronaldo fans up in arms.
Yeah, well, like I give a fuck about Ronaldo.
So, speaking of Ronaldo, is it even a debate anymore?
No.
It's not even a debate. Who's the best of all time?
No.
Is it a debate between Pele and Messi?
Yes.
Why?
Well, because Pele was by far the best of his time.
Yes.
Messi,
but never played in Europe.
Messi is by far the best in his time. Now, as with all sports, they try to compare through generations, and there is no comparisons through generations. The game has just changed way too much.
If you look at the goals that Pele scored, you'd be like, well, you could have scored that. Like, some of them just look so soft.
Mm-hmm. Yes. The game was different back then. So,
and Mbappe is going to be the GOAT
of the next generation. Yeah.
I mean, he's already pretty much the World Cup best player of all time.
Pretty close.
He has just as many goals as Pele. I think he's still behind Messi. But, you know, he's as long as France stays good, he ends up probably with 2-3 World Cups. He is just that good.
Yes. So we got 3.5 years till the next time, and the next time is in North America. Most of the games will be played in the United States. There'll be a few played in Canada and a couple played in Mexico. So grab your tickets now. Philly is a host city.
So is New York. Well, New Jersey. At MetLife.
Yep.
There's another one up here this direction, I think.
Probably Gillette. They like to play soccer games at Gillette Stadium.
Maybe. I did read, I don't know if this confirms where the final is, but apparently where the Cowboys play, they're doing renovations to make it bigger.
Yeah, that would make sense. Like, so I had said it makes sense that the finals would be at AT&T Stadium. It's the largest stadium. You'll have a lot of people from Mexico that want to come watch the game. I mean, the other site was MetLife Stadium,
which is the biggest stadium in the NFL. But it's so far away from everything else.
Right. So,
I mean, SoFi was the other option.
SoFi would have been a really good option, too. So there's 3 options out there. It has technically not been named yet where the final is going to be.
Yeah.
So, and if anybody cares, in 7 months or so, the Women's World Cup starts.
I don't care. I'm just hoping Germany plays in Philly or New York so I can go watch. Because I honestly could care less about going to a U.S. game. I'd much rather go to an Italian, German game, something like that.
Yeah, you better hope they make it.
They'll make it. The Italians, who knows? If they win Euros, watch out. They may not make it.
So for those of you that don't know, today is the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. What, pray tell, is the Immaculate Reception? It was a playoff game between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Oakland Raiders at the time. Pittsburgh Steelers were trailing 7-6. It was 4th down. Terry Bradshaw just heaved it up. It deflected off of a player or two into the arms of Franco Harris, who scampered down the field, scored a touchdown with less than a minute to go, and the Pittsburgh Steelers won the game.
Kiana says hi.
Hi. So, there was supposed to be a huge celebration tomorrow in Pittsburgh because the NFL purposely scheduled the Las Vegas Raiders to play the Steelers tomorrow night. Or Sunday night. Whatever. Tomorrow. Either tomorrow night or Sunday night. I forget. And unfortunately, earlier this week, Franco Harris passed away. So our condolences to Franco's family. He was in a Penn State family. He graduated from Penn State. So who knows? Maybe you shared a dorm room that he was in. It was in a possible dining hall or a classroom or something.
I got ridiculed this week about it.
You did get ridiculed.
Because it was brought up the day it happened at work. We're all sports fans, and a couple of guys are Steelers fans. And they go, Franco Harris passed away. I'm like, and I just go, who's that? And you just hear my boss in his office just go, you don't know who Franco Harris is? And they go, you don't know the Immaculate Catch? And I was like, let me look it up. And I was like, oh, I've seen that play before. Would I have put that to Immaculate Catch? No.
Like, you don't even say it right. Immaculate Reception.
Exactly.
Yes.
But like, they're like, he went to Penn State. I'm like, yeah, when? So one of our employees, a bunch of the guys are older. I said, well, you probably saw him play here. And he's like, I did. And I'm like, my point. He was a NFL Hall of Famer 9 years before I was born. And then one of the guys goes, well, you know who Babe Ruth is? And I went, that's comparing apples to oranges. Babe Ruth was the best baseball player, arguably, of all time. Franco Harris is not the best running back or whatever he played as all time. Yes, he's an NFL Hall of Famer. Yes, he has a lot of accolades. I looked him up. But he's not the best football player of all time, so his name just isn't synonymous. Unless you're a Penn State fan or a Steelers fan.
Yes, I mean, let's admit, he stopped playing, almost 20 years before you were born.
Exactly. So it's like, since I'm not like, I don't really look into really old Penn State stuff, I'm not a Steelers fan, his name isn't very synonymous to me.
Yeah. So, I get it.
Thank you for not ridiculing me. I felt really stupid.
I ridiculed you internally, don't worry. No, there's far more things that we could ridicule you about. So,
Thanks.
I want to talk about last night's football game.
It was a doozy.
It was a nail biter. It kept you on the edge of your seat all night long as the Jacksonville Jaguars beat the New York Jets 19-3.
So, before you go into this game, has there been a single good Thursday night game this year?
Maybe one. The schedule certainly has sucked this year on Thursday nights.
Because the announcers were like, well, we saw this back, when the season started. We're like, this is a terrible game. But no, these two teams are okay. No, it's still a terrible game. I mean, I don't want to watch 500 Jacksonville versus 500 Jets. I don't care.
Yes, but you're going to get, every team plays on a Thursday, so...
Yeah, you need some better matchups, Amazon. Come on.
You know what? So the people who don't have Amazon Prime aren't feeling so bad for not ordering Amazon Prime this year.
And the people who did order are probably like, oh, damn, I really didn't need to spend the $10.
I mean, I think I've maybe watched 3 of the games that have been on Thursday night.
Turn it on, but it's usually off by halftime. We'll go to bed.
So I think the Zach Wilson experiment in New York is over.
Oh, yeah.
At least it should be over. I mean, it's not like Jacksonville has a good defense.
Really.
In 7 drives last night, Zach Wilson garnered a total of 78 yards.
That's bad.
His backup, who was in the Canadian Football League, mind you, his first drive, he had 85 yards, I believe it was. Granted, different style quarterback, completely different. Different play calls. Jacksonville wasn't quite ready to face that. It took him some time to adjust. It's not like he took him down and scored. I forget what the guy's name was. I don't know.
Flacco?
No. Do you think I would have said Flacco was a Canadian football player, you dunce?
Flacco should have been in there.
Oh, God. See, this is why, ladies and gentlemen, he's called the non-genetically proven son. Because there is no way that fucking thing could have come from my loins. No way. It's not possible. It is not possible my 23 chromosomes got in there. So the Zach Wilson experiment is over. Sorry, Jets. It was a bad pick. I'm a Jets fan. The Jets are ready to win now. They have the components to win now. They have a top 5 defense in the league. They have a really good running back who's out for the year because he's hurt, but he'll be back to start next season. They need a What?
Chris Stredler.
Sure. They need a quarterback.
Not this year.
There's not one to draft. You can't draft a quarterback. Like, you can't have the growing pain. The Jets are set up to make a playoff run now. So they need to get a quarterback from another team.
Okay.
I have the guy. And it's a no-brainer.
Let's do some guessing games around.
It's an absolute no-brainer who the Jets should get.
AFC or NFC?
Why should I tell you right now?
No, I want to guess.
NFC.
NFC.
Yes.
NFC.
They'd probably have to give up a 3rd or 4th round draft pick, or maybe a 3rd and a 4th, and that would be worth it.
NFC North?
I'm not no clues. NFC.
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 What?
My only concern is he's a little injury prone.
Josh says Gardner Minshew.
The stash. Who's getting the start tomorrow, by the way? The
He
stash.
might be better than Zach Wilson.
He probably is. But no, it's not the stash. No. If you think about it, here's the big hint. He knows the style of play that the Jets are using right now. That just gives it away.
I don't watch Jets football, so...
You gotta know the style of play. So in other words, where did the coaching staff of the Jets come from?
I don't know.
San Francisco.
Okay.
Jimmy G is the obvious choice to go to the Jets.
Jimmy G.
It's obvious. It is too obvious.
You don't want Brock Purdy?
They're not going to get rid of Brock Purdy. He's young. He's on a rookie contract. They're not going to get rid of him.
What? Why would the 49ers want Trey Lance? He sucks.
They wanted Trey Lance this year.
He stinks.
And then he got hurt. They weren't even allowing Jimmy G to practice during training camp.
And he comes in and actually, you know what? They haven't lost since.
No, they haven't lost since the Kansas City game. He is the obvious choice to be in Jets green next season. It's too obvious. Think what you want. I don't give a fuck.
I mean, take this as you want, people listening. He predicted Aaron Rodgers to be in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform right now.
I did.
And that sounds like the stupidest thing ever as of this moment.
I remember the wink.
So, the fact that he has Jimmy G going all the way to New York, take that with a grain of salt if you want.
Hey. Think it's a good move, think it's a bad move, I don't care.
Oh, it would be a good move.
Would absolutely be a good move.
I don't know who's going to take Zach Wilson off your hands. Houston?
Probably nobody. He becomes your third stringer till his contract is over. I mean, maybe you could trade him to Houston. Who knows? Like, like, there's not really a lot of good names coming out in the draft this year for quarterbacks.
I saw a prediction of Will Levis going number 1.
So what does that tell you about how the quarterbacks are this year?
Going, Atlanta might want a quarterback. They might end up being the worst. Them or Houston.
But the Zach Wilson experiment is over.
Josh says he likes that trade.
Of course he does. Because he's smart. SMRT. I am so smart. SMRT. I am so smart.
Take probably like Jalen Hurts.
So we're getting into the nitty-gritty of bowl time now.
I should probably go look and see what bowls are this week.
Not many good ones. Let's face it, there's not many good ones. On Tuesday,
Oklahoma State's this week.
On Tuesday, you got Oklahoma State, Wisconsin. Big deal.
That's a better matchup than
big deal. Wisconsin sucks. Shockingly, they're a favorite. I don't know how. Wednesday, you got Kansas, Arkansas. That could be a good game. You also had North Carolina, Oregon. At least they know how to put up points.
Oregon's a 14.5-point favorite. Jeez.
Ole Miss, Texas Tech as well on Wednesday. Thursday, Oklahoma, Florida State. Washington, Texas.
Florida. I need to figure out why. I'd like to know why this safety committed to Penn State decided to not go to Penn State.
You know what? It's -2 up there right now.
You're committed. You can. I don't think you should be allowed to do that.
First off, it was a verbal commitment.
Okay. Well, the media sources don't like to say that. They like to say committed. If you're committed to a college, you shouldn't be allowed to talk to another college unless you decommit.
I mean, maybe, just maybe, he figured out he wasn't going to get a lot of playing time.
A 4-star safety wasn't going to get playing time.
Not maybe his freshman year. Who knows?
You know what? I can tell you what it was. He got an NIL deal. That's what it was.
That could be too. That could be too. Let's see here. Next Friday, we got Clemson, Tennessee.
That game will suck.
Pitt, UCLA. And then Saturday, the good games start. Kansas State, Alabama. Iowa, Kentucky with an over-under of 31 still.
I mean, Tennessee, Clemson, whatever the over-under is, it's going to be backup quarterback.
63.5.
So, DJ Uiagalelei isn't playing. He's in the portal. And I'm going to assume Hooker is still injured. Tennessee probably doesn't even care. Why would Clemson either? I kind of like the under in that game.
Well, there you go.
You might see that next week.
Do you like the under in the Iowa-Kentucky game?
31? Literally lower than an Army-Navy game. Army-Navy, I think, was 34 this year.
So needless to say, on our final sports show of the year next Friday, we will have our major bowl projections.
Yeah.
So, you wanted to do, speaking of projections, some NFL playoff projections.
Yes.
So we were going to predict what we thought the seeds were going to be.
Right.
So I'm going to put up the standings. Well, let's see here. Okay. So right now, in the AFC, you have the Bills, the Chiefs, the Bengals that have clinched playoff berths.
Correct.
Right now, if the season ended, you'd have the Titans, the Ravens, the Chargers, and the Dolphins in the playoffs. And on the bubble, you got New England, Jacksonville, the Jets, and I'll throw in the Raiders and the Browns and the Steelers in there, since they're not officially eliminated. In the NFC, clinched Eagles, Vikings, 49ers, Cowboys. In the hunt, your first place Tampa Bay Buccaneers with a record of 6-8.
God, the division's so bad.
The Giants, the Redskins on the bubble, Seattle, Detroit, Green Bay, Carolina, New Orleans, and Atlanta. Interesting that 3 out of the 4 teams in the South with a 5-9 record, 4 games under 500, are considered in the hunt.
Yeah.
They cannot have a winning record, but they're in the hunt.
Yeah.
All right, non-genetically proven elf. Who gets the number 1 seed in the AFC? Buffalo goes to Chicago. And then they go to Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
And I forget who they have in the last week. You pull up the schedule. New England.
I'll give the Chiefs the number 1 seed.
All right. So the Chiefs have the Seahawks this week. And who else do they have?
They have the Raiders, and they have the Broncos.
Okay. So it's fairly safe to say that the Chiefs are probably going to win out.
Probably, especially knowing they can still get the 1 seed.
Right. So, and the Bengals have the Patriots, and then the Bills, and then
The Ravens.
the Ravens. So yes, the Chiefs have the easiest schedule. If they win out, they need to hope that Buffalo loses a game.
Correct.
So I would agree the Chiefs probably have right now the inside track.
Correct.
To me, I'm going to put the Bengals as the number 2 seed. I think they win out. I think they beat Buffalo next week.
So we have the same top 3 seeds.
All right. So who is going to win the South? Will Tennessee hold on with their 7-7 record, or will Jacksonville and Tennessee could be tied if Tennessee loses this week?
Does Tennessee win? Nope.
Tennessee will most likely be starting their backup quarterback for the rest of the season.
The Titans have to play the Cowboys next week.
Yeah.
And they get to play the Jaguars the last week.
Gotcha.
They will not go into Jacksonville and win. Jacksonville will clinch the division and be your 4 seed.
And who does Jacksonville have next week?
Jacksonville has the Texans.
Okay. The Titans will beat the Texans this week.
They should.
You might see a pick associated with that in a little bit. So, that takes care of the 4 division winners. Who are the wild card seeds going to be?
Well, I think the Ravens are locked in to get a wild card seed.
Okay.
Same with the Chargers.
Okay.
Then it's a little bit of a toss-up between Tennessee, New England, and Miami.
Okay.
I think obviously any single one of them can get in.
So Miami plays the Packers this week,
They do.
and
And then
they
they
finish
play,
with the Jets, and who they have in the middle.
they're at the Patriots.
Okay.
That's not going to be a fun game.
No.
Baltimore has the Ravens this week, yeah?
Has the
Has the
Falcons.
Falcons this week. And they're home against the Steelers, and they're at the Bengals.
That's not an easy schedule either.
No. And the Chargers, they have the Colts, the Rams, Broncos. So they're in. I would give them the number 5 seed. And I'd probably give the Ravens the 6th seed.
So,
And then whoever wins that Miami Patriots is probably going to be the 7th seed.
I think the Ravens are looking good. I think the Chargers are looking good. Don't sleep on the Steelers just yet.
The Steelers play the Raiders, the Ravens, and the Browns.
Yes. If they could find a way to beat the Ravens, they could have another winning record. Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season as coach of the Steelers. Yep. Never had a losing season.
Impressive with the team they got, because they don't got much.
No, but there's a chance. They have a chance to win out, and at 9-8, it might be good enough to make it.
And the only thing about the AFC that kind of sucks, it's pretty much going to come just down to the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Bengals anyways.
Of all probability.
I mean, as you said before, the NFL is just kind of like, there's 5 teams that are really good, and that's it.
Yes. All right, so in the NFC, the Eagles are 1 win away from clinching home field. I wonder if Dallas had won last week, which they should have won, if Jalen Hurts would be playing this week.
I think it's just a little too convenient that he decided to get hurt. When they don't need to.
Well, he got hurt, so, but
yeah, that's what they say.
But would
Who's to know if that's true?
Would he have gotten, like, could he have played if he had to?
Yeah, I'd say so, because I don't think he's truly as hurt as they would say he is.
I think
you get a week off.
I think he would have played too. So, assuming for a moment Dallas wins this week, which is no guarantee. I mean, they're only a 4.5-point favorite, and we know how Dallas handles themselves at the end of the year.
True.
There's no guarantee that they win this week. If the Eagles do win this week, who do they have next week?
The Saints.
I mean, if they lose this week, you see Hurst playing next week, as long as he's not more hurt than you think he is.
I kind of think it's more like how in soccer you call it a knock, where he could play, but it's better just to give him the week off because you don't need him to play.
Right, it's precautionary. I get it.
If the Eagles are undefeated, he's out there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. So the real battle is going to be between the number 2 and the number 3 seeds. The Vikings, let's face it, got lucky to come back and win last week.
Yeah, I saw some people. That's the greatest comeback ever in football. Like, it's not even close to the Super Bowl one.
Well, no, but it is the largest comeback ever.
It's the largest, but if, as you say, how people want to say the Vikings are really good, if you are a top 5 NFL team, as their record would suggest, you don't need to come back from 33 points at home to the Colts.
Yes.
I mean, you're not going to see the Eagles or the 49ers or the Cowboys down 33 at halftime to the Colts. Sorry.
No.
So
You're not. You're not. I mean, to me, it still doesn't matter. The 49ers are still going to the Super Bowl. I've been saying it for 2.5 months now.
And they're going to be the number 2 seed.
I was saying it when their record was 4-4 that they were going to the Super Bowl.
That you did.
So, let's just assume this is the way it is. Philly gets the number 1 seed, Vikings get the number 2, 49ers get the number 3, Cowboys get the number 5. Does Tampa get the number 4? Carolina controls their own destiny. Of all the teams that control their own destiny, the Carolina Panthers do.
No, because they have to go into Tampa next week.
Now, the Bucs get a huge break playing Arizona when basically they don't give a damn. That team is in turmoil. Trace McSorley is starting this week.
What does that say?
I mean, that team is in turmoil. The owner doesn't like the starting quarterback. The coach doesn't want to be there. The general manager took a leave of absence. I mean, if Tom Terrific can't win this week, something's wrong.
Yeah, and if Carolina wins and still controls their own destiny, Tom, the playoff quarterback, is going to show up the last 2 weeks.
Who do they have? Carolina, you said, next week, and then do they have Atlanta or the Saints to finish?
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
So 2 of their last 3 games are kind of cupcakes.
Okay, so they could realistically still finish 9-8.
Yeah.
Okay, so you think Tampa's going to hold on and win that division?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So that leaves 5 teams for 2 spots. Right now, the Giants are in the driver's seat for 1, but they have Minnesota this week.
They do.
And they still have to play the Eagles the last game of the season, but I think that's a win for the Giants because the Eagles are going to be resting a lot of players.
I agree. The Giants are going to win their last 2 games. They play the Colts and then they play the Eagles. Vikings are a toss-up for me. I'd like to see them win.
So the Vikings clinched their division last week.
They did.
They have the Giants this weekend, and then they have
the Packers, who they're going to lose to. And then they have the Bears, who they're going to lose to.
Okay, so that would most likely knock them down to the 3 seed vault.
Yeah.
San Francisco has Washington this week.
Then the Raiders and then the Cardinals.
Okay. So they could easily win out.
They win out. They're 13-4. The Vikings are at best 12-5.
Okay. So I think the Giants are going to be in. I think they win at least 2 out of their last 3. It would not shock me if they beat Minnesota this week.
I have them firmly at 6.
Washington. They have the 49ers this week, so that's probably going to be a loss. They end at Dallas.
And they have the Browns.
They have the Browns. So, Dallas could be locked into the 5 seed. If they can't fall down anymore, they could be resting a lot of players the last game. So that Washington could easily win 2 out of their last 3. If they win 2 out of their last 3, 9-7-1. That would mean that Detroit would have to run the table.
Detroit has the Panthers, the Bears, the Packers.
They have the Packers at home, I believe.
No.
Green Bay plays their last 2 games at home of the season.
Correct.
Interesting. So, it's doable for the Lions. Seattle is losing this week to Kansas City, of all probability.
And then they're going to play the Jets at home and the Rams at home.
Yeah, so they could finish 9-7 as well. I'm sorry.
9-8.
9-8. So yeah, I mean, the teams that are in now might be in now. I mean, the Packers have to win out to have any chance.
I mean, as a Packers fan, I would have said it comes down to the Lions-Packers last game of the year, winner makes the playoffs, but you'll see why I haven't said that.
Yes.
And
so I think the teams that are in now have the greatest chance of staying in.
I have Seattle as the 7th seed.
Okay. Whee! So,
I don't think it matters because they get to travel to San Francisco. So.
And that leads us to this week's Phatts Phantastic Phive.
Woo!
For those of you that don't know what it is, it's our chance to make 5 picks. Play them at your own risk.
Hey! I'm doing terrible this year.
Play them at your own risk is all I'm going to say. So let's look at last week's picks. First, Arizona and Denver over 36.5. These are the non-genetically proven Elves picks. Sort of, kind of. Arizona, Denver over 36.5. Winner, winner. Cincinnati minus 3.5. Winner, winner. New York Giants plus 5. Winner, winner. Tennessee plus 3. I believe that was a push.
It was a push. They lost by 3.
Yes. And Pittsburgh plus 3 was a winner. So a good week for the non-genetically proven elf. 4-0-1.
All right. Undefeated.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad. So let's look at his picks for this week. And he could give us a detailed explanation as to why he picked them.
Which detailed explanation do you want?
The same one that you gave last week. You have Cincinnati minus 3 over New England.
One of the hottest teams in the NFL. Right there.
They've won and covered like 7 straight or something like that.
Yeah.
Very hot.
Joe Burrow's hot, and, well, I want him to do good. Sort of. I want him to win by 3. But I want the running back to do most of the work.
Got it.
I want to win in fantasy.
I understand. I'm hoping Joe Burrow has a good game because he's my starting quarterback in fantasy in a different league.
I want Joe Burrow to have 125 yards and no touchdowns. And Nixon to have 350 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Okay, then. You have San Francisco giving 6.5 over the Washington Commandos.
Commandos can't score. They couldn't score on the Giants.
Huh. Interesting. Interesting you should say that.
They scored on San Francisco.
Interesting you should say that. And you'll find out why in a little bit.
Especially traveling to San Francisco. Good luck.
Well, yeah. You have Tennessee minus 3 over Houston. Hello.
Only 3 against Houston.
Only 3 against Houston. Backup quarterback.
3 Houston.
Backup quarterback.
And one of the best running backs in the league.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
I'll take the Henry train this week to carry them to that.
Okay. All right. You have Miami going home after 3 straight road games against your Pack, and you went against the Packers.
Yeah, this is why I said the Packers are not going to make the playoffs, because they're not going to win this week.
You know, I will say that the Packers have a history of not playing very good when they either have to go to Florida or California.
I certainly don't have a good history against any teams in California. That I do know.
Well, they don't have a good history going to Florida either, if you look.
Well, they're just going to pass it all over that defense.
And then you took Vegas, your only underdog play. Interesting. Yeah. Over the Steelers.
You're lagging out a little bit.
I said you have Vegas +2 over the Steelers.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Okay, good reason.
I didn't pick that one.
Okay. And those are the non-genetically proven Suns picks for the weeks. Recapping my picks for last week, I had one college bowl game. I had Marshall giving 10 over UConn. They won by 14.
I have to say, no idea if that was a win or not.
I had Minnesota -3.5. If you remember, I trashed Minnesota on last week's Friday show, and then I took them against Indy. Damn, they looked really good in that second half.
Yeah, they didn't cover, though. That would have been something if you played a -3.5 at halftime.
Well, yeah, I mean,
And -2.5.
I have to learn to start making just small halftime wagers on the teams that's losing.
And what, take their +20 that they
No,
were?
play them to win outright.
I feel like that's a little of a waste of money. Because the odds of that happening aren't very good.
You'd be surprised.
I mean, I'm not saying the 33. Yeah, obviously they're down by 3. Well, yeah, they can still win. But if they're down by 33, the odds of that happening are pretty slim to none.
Yes. Then I had Baltimore getting 2.5 at Cleveland. Now, this game surprised me. And yet, Justin Tucker missed 2 field goals.
Thank you. I was freaking out about that.
When was the last time Justin Tucker missed 2 field goals in a game?
He missed like a 47-yarder.
Yes.
Strange. That's a chip shot for him.
They lost outright. They scored 3 points.
Yeah, they did.
Then I had the Bears +9 over the Eagles. And I also had the Giants, like you did, +5 over the Commandos. So, I went 3-2 for the week. So we both had a winning week. By the way, Josh said Jags are taking the South.
We agree.
And he likes the Texans over the Titans this week.
You're an idiot.
My plays for the week. We are going against each other on a game.
All right. Woo! Only second time this year.
Yes. And I'm 0-1. You're 1-0.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going right back with the Bears.
The Bears.
The Bears over Buffalo tomorrow. Getting 8.5 points. Why, pray tell, am I taking the Bears getting 8.5 points over Buffalo?
Because Justin Fields is going to score 60 fantasy points.
Why in the world would I do that? Well, let me tell you. Here is the weather forecast for tomorrow. Partly sunny, high near 11, wind chill values as low as -22. West wind 20 to 25 miles an hour with gusts as high as 40.
So,
who wants to play football in that weather?
Justin Fields is going to run the ball.
It is going to be a run, keep the clock running kind of game. Who does that favor? The running quarterback.
I don't want the clock running. I want him to score 4 touchdowns.
I'm not saying that Chicago is going to win the game. I am saying they are going to cover. There is a chance that they win the game, though. New York Giants +4. This is a stat play. I'm going to consider the Minnesota victory as a miracle victory. Largest comeback in NFL history. I'm considering it a miracle victory.
Miracle victory, but okay.
Teams coming off a miracle victory cover roughly 11% of the time their following game.
I don't like that stat because to me it's not a miracle victory against one of the worst defenses in the league.
Shut the fuck up. It's my turn.
That's got to get clipped. Somebody's got to clip that.
I will take the Giants +4. And besides, I like the Giants at +4 anyway.
The G-Man.
Derrick Henry over 110.5 rushing yards.
Well, that kind of plays into my pick a little bit.
That's a lot of rushing yards.
It is.
Here is Derrick Henry's stats the last 4 times he's played against Houston.
He's about to have 1,000 rushing yards.
This is how many rushing yards he's had the last 4 games. 211, 212, 250, 219.
I said almost 1,000. So
he's got over 200 rushing yards his last 4 times he's played Houston. Tennessee's playing their backup quarterback. Now, the only thing that concerns me is obviously Houston is going to be keyed on Derrick Henry to run the ball. As long as Tennessee's offensive line comes to play, he's going to have over 110 rushing yards. Oh, looky here. Washington, San Francisco over 37.5. Why do I like this game? Well, let me tell you. Ron Rivera. Who is Ron Rivera?
I don't know.
He is Washington's coach.
Okay.
The last 21 times he has been an underdog by more than 6 points. 20-1 to the over. Pure stat play.
No random stat.
Pure stat play.
Like, where do you find that?
I just hear things along the way.
Like, that's such a random stat for someone to keep track of, and then somebody to know.
No one keeps track of it. There's just, like, computer programs where you just punch in stuff, and
it's such a random stat that, like, it's probably more of just a phenomenon that's, like, a crazy phenomenon, I don't think it means anything.
So, that tells me is when he's a big underdog, he takes chances.
Yeah.
That game goes over the total. San Francisco could score 30 on their own.
That they could. I also want McCaffrey to do nothing.
And the game we go heads up on, I have Pittsburgh -2. Why am I taking Pittsburgh -2? Oh, let's see here. They were supposed to have a parade tomorrow for Franco Harris. Franco Harris just died. You don't think Pittsburgh is going to play inspirational football? Think of all the times you had deaths the week of a football game and how good the players have played in that game. Think of when Brett Favre's father died. Brett Favre had one of his best games ever in his whole storied career. It is just a fact. The Steelers are going to win and win comfortably in this game, and I'm giving less than a touchdown. I will take it. So to recap, the non-genetically proven Sun has Cincinnati -3, San Fran -6.5, Tennessee -3, Miami -3.5, Vegas +2. I have Chicago +8.5, the Giants +4, Derrick Henry over 110.5 rushing yards, Washington, San Francisco over 37.5, Pittsburgh -2, and that is this week's Phatts Phantastic Phive. Yay.
Don't act so excited.
Yay.
Hey.
So before we finish off the show tonight,
yeah,
I said I was going to prove how this is my Christmas attire.
Okay.
All right? We're going to go back into the archives of Phatts TV.
All right.
To 2 years ago.
Oh, I wonder what happened 2 years ago.
2 years ago. When we made our singing debut on Phatts TV, and we are going to replay the song, the Christmas song that we sang on Phatts TV. So I want you to notice what I was wearing.
That's great.
Like I said, my Christmas attire. So we're going to go one by one. I'm going to do the odd days. The non-genetically proven elf is going to do the even days. Now, you remember how to do this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, like the spacing between day 5 and day 4. You remember the space? You know, it's 2, 3, 4, you know? Because we only practiced this sort of once. Sort of. All right, are you ready? This is our singing debut here on Phatts TV. Can't believe we're about to make a fool out of ourselves. All right, here we go. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Da-da-da-da-da-da. The first day of quarantine, Wolf took from me dinner with my family.
The second day of quarantine, Wolf took from me freedom to travel.
And dinner with my family. The third day of quarantine, Wolf took from me going to movies.
Freedom to travel.
And dinner with my family.
On the fourth day of quarantine, Wolf took from me in-person learning.
Going to movies.
Freedom to travel.
And dinner with my family. The fifth day of quarantine, Wolf took from me Planet Fitness.
In-person learning.
Going to movies.
Freedom to travel.
And dinner with my family.
On the sixth day of quarantine, Wolf took from me hitting casino jackpot.
Planet Fitness.
In-person learning.
Going to movies.
Freedom to travel.
And dinner with my family. The seventh day of quarantine, Wolf took from me attending rock concerts.
Hitting casino jackpot.
Planet Fitness.
In-person learning.
Going to movies.
Freedom to travel.
And dinner with my family.
On the eighth day of quarantine, Wolf took from me playing Miss Pac-Man.
Attending rock concerts.
Hitting casino jackpot.
Planet Fitness.
In-person learning.
Going to movies.
Freedom to travel.
And dinner with my family. The ninth day of quarantine, Wolf took from me lap dancing strippers.
Playing Miss Pac-Man.
Attending rock concerts.
Hitting casino jackpot.
Planet Fitness.
In-person learning.
Going to movies.
Freedom to travel.
And dinner with my family.
On the 10th day of quarantine, Wolf took from me getting drunk at bowling.
Lap dancing strippers.
Playing Miss Pac-Man.
Attending rock concerts.
Hitting casino jackpot.
Planet Fitness.
In-person learning.
Going to movies.
Freedom to travel.
And dinner with my family. The 11th day of quarantine, Wolf took from me Holy Communion.
Getting drunk at bowling.
Lap dancing strippers.
Playing Miss Pac-Man.
Attending rock concerts.
Hitting casino jackpot.
Planet Fitness.
In-person learning.
Going to movies.
Freedom to travel.
And dinner with my family.
On the 12th day of quarantine, Wolf took from me a weekly paycheck.
Holy Communion.
Getting drunk at bowling.
Lap dancing strippers.
Playing Miss Pac-Man.
Attending rock concerts.
Hitting casino jackpot.
Planet Fitness.
In-person learning.
Going to movies.
Freedom to travel.
And dinner with my family.
Yeah!
Boy, did we make a fool out of ourselves there. So that was our singing debut from our
God. That was something.
from our Christmas special that we did.
Can't say I expected you to be playing that. If you were going to play anything, that was not what I expected.
Did you expect the story?
Oh, I much expected the story. The story's probably going to come up tomorrow just because it's funny.
Who knows? All right. I just wanted to prove that this is my Christmas attire.
Just shows that that's what you wear when it's cold out or cold in the house.
Well, let's face it. I have about 25 undershirts.
Yeah, and you have about 3 or 4 flannels.
I have 6 flannels, 2 of them being red. So, there's not to say that this was the undershirt I was wearing 2 years ago. I may have had the other red flannel shirt on 2 years ago.
Just a strange coincidence you just so happen to be wearing the same flannel.
Just so happens to be the way it was. Might have been planned.
Yeah, you only looked at the song and like, yeah, I'll wear the red one.
But it wasn't.
Yeah, why would we do that? Why would we prepare to do this? This show is built.
It was,
winging it.
It was, we should revisit the song. So I brought up the song. I'm like, oh, I'm wearing the same flannel shirt. So I actually thought about changing the flannel shirt. And I'm like, nah.
This whole show is based on just winging it. So why would we ever do anything else?
Hey, that show we didn't wing it though.
Yeah, most of the time we didn't wing it. Like, we do have topics to talk about.
Yeah.
But we very much go off track.
Yes. But
that's what makes it interesting.
We did write the song. We did write the story that we told a little later in this show.
Reading the song. Just both looking down at it.
Well, that's so we can remember the number. We had to remember
I came down for the show that day, and you're just like, memorize this song. You told me to come down earlier than normal, and you're like, here's the song, here's the story.
Well, no, you sat next to me as I wrote a lot of the story. I remember that.
Yeah. I remember you writing it.
Yeah.
You couldn't figure out how to finish it.
How Santa Phatts and the non-genetically proven elf saved Christmas, at least for one family, while blocking up their toilet.
And eating their chips.
All right, so that's going to do it for our show tonight. We will be back next Wednesday to talk about more of the Twitter files. It gets really interesting. So, we want all you good little boys and girls to make sure you go to bed early, or else Santa Phatts and the non-genetically proven elf cannot bring toys to your house. And listen, boys and girls, I want you to understand something. Santa Phatts has put on a little bit of weight this year, so Santa Phatts does not need cookies. What Santa Phatts need is a hooker. That's what Santa Phatts needs, is hookers. So, if I come down your chimney and don't get stuck,
or through the door,
those that leave Santa Phatts a hooker will get really good presents. If you leave Santa Phatts cookies, well, you might just get coal. Or if Santa has to take a bowel movement at the time, you might have something else in your stocking. That's all I'm going to say.
That's what I was thinking.
That's all I'm going to say. All right, until Tuesday, have a safe, happy, healthy Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. We will see you Tuesday. Merry Christmas, everybody. Say Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry ho